Hi, Andy. Thank you for
Hi,
coming to my
Annie.
show. Thank you for accepting
Thank
my
you for,
interview.
thank you for having me.
Please give us a brief introduction of the event online forum on international students and COVID-19.
For sure. So our team, after our general town hall, we organized this international student town hall because of what some internal stakeholders they described as some unique challenges they face, specifically related to international students with all the barriers that they have, things like travel restrictions, the study disruptions. Some international students were told that they had to leave the campus or their residence during the COVID situation. For a lot of them, this was a very stressful time, and there were issues related to going back to their home country, seeing their family members. So this kind of evolved after we did some community stakeholder consultation, and we noticed this gap. And while initially PROTECH, this wasn't a part of the PROTECH necessarily mandate, we thought that it would be something good to organize in order to really understand and capture the experiences of these international students and to hopefully provide them with a sense of community empowerment by getting them to learn from one another and to support each other. Our goal really was to sort of facilitate an online forum where they can meet different international students who may have gone through similar challenges and experiences. And it's not an end-all event, but just the beginning of a kind of community networking and hopefully empowerment for them to support each other over time.
Yeah, it looks like the first online town hall is focusing on legal issue and then psychological issue because the title is Tips on Legal Issues and Mental Health. Do you think these are the two main concerns to the Chinese international students, and that's why you pick up these two subjects?
Right, that's a great question. Thank you. I think in terms of what their needs are right now, there are a lot of different needs. We sent out a survey as part of the registration just to try and start capturing some of those nuances and barriers that they may face. I would say that why we invited AVGO for the legal clinic questions and also Dr. Jenny Liu with her mental health resilience app. I think it's just because these two things kind of came out during our kind of internal consultation as well of being issues that people were noticing for international students, whether they can come back after they leave the country, whether they can resume school in the fall semester, what happens to their study permits after all of this. So for us, we noticed that a lot of international students were asking questions from a legal perspective, and we thought that this would be a great opportunity for someone who has experience in this area to come in and provide some updates on what the legal situation is right now and hopefully be able to answer their questions. In terms of mental health, I would say that there's a lot of mental health issues that international students face specifically, not just in terms of their ability to be resilient, but also how they're coping, how they're navigating through periods of social isolation. They aren't able to go home in some cases and see their family members, and that could be extremely stressful for them. On top of that, a lot of international students may have experienced racism and stigma while they're here studying. And I think that what Dr. Jenny Liu is going to present on mental health resilience in her app will be a good gateway to support students in understanding what areas maybe they're not coping so well, how do they build and develop further resilience, and what are some community supports or activities that they can engage in to further promote their mental health.
So you mentioned two very important topics. So when you reaching out to the students group. What kind of a student group you reached out? You talked to them, and then you
For
invite
sure.
them to join this town hall.
Yes. We have had a working group for this International Student Town Hall that's been working collectively together. Again, it's always important to involve as many different stakeholders as possible within your working group. And we thought it was very valuable to get other individuals who are on different student organizations, who are on different I guess, community associations and organizations to be involved on their working group, just so they can help spread the information. So from our end, what we've been doing is to network out through different social media. So Facebook groups that other members of the working group are a part of. We've also been reaching out to various community organizations that may have projects that involve international students. So ACAS, one of our working group members, is a member also from ACAS, and he's been very helpful in sending it out to members of his project, which deals with international students as well. We've been sending it to a lot of university and college Chinese student associations. So we have emailed them. We have tried to message them on Facebook if they have a Facebook page. And so we also have been trying to reach out to more Chinese students through WeChat, which is a very popular platform. And we have made a WeChat group for them to join. And that's another way for us to share information. So we have been using multiple channels in order to recruit and get the town hall information out to participants.
Different groups, yes. For how
Yeah,
long
different groups.
you have prepared for this event? Must be a lot of preparation. It's
Oh, wow.
hard to
Okay.
organize.
I, yeah, I actually think it's been just close to a month we've been preparing. It was really after the general town hall that we had, where we had a meeting and started working on it. That was a big town hall for us to plan previously, so we wanted to make sure that there were no dates overlapping. So I would say it was towards the end of May, early June, when we started kicking things off into high gear for this International Student Town Hall.
I read online information that this town hall, this forum will be in English, Cantonese, and Mandarin. So how are you gonna organize this three languages together?
Of course. What we're trying to do is when we first start, we're going to do introduction, and we're using Zoom. I believe we will have an interpreter that can simultaneously translate. So when participants click on the language, you'll hear a translator speak in Mandarin, I believe. Right now, we don't have a lot of people signed up who've indicated their only language is Cantonese. So we are still trying to figure out the best way of doing interpretations for the Cantonese speakers. We do have interpreters available to also simultaneously translate to Cantonese. So it will be using Zoom. When they do the breakout rooms, it will be language specific. So we will have three or more groups for English, Cantonese, and Mandarin. And then when they come back, we will, into the bigger group, we will, again, converse in English. And if people require translation services, we will have that available too.
Mm-hmm. What's your expectation of this town hall? Personally,
In terms of what?
in terms of how
Personally?
many people, gonna show up, and then what you really think the goal is
Oh,
gonna, yeah.
well, ideally, the more the merrier. I would hope that we get a lot of participants. That being said, I think numbers around the 30 or more would be appropriate at this point. We also understand how fast this town hall was planned. And that can cause some scheduling issues with individuals who need more time. We did offer on the registration form an opportunity for participants to say that they cannot attend the town hall but are interested in getting more information after. And so we have their information to hopefully email them or contact them afterwards if they want to join in other ways. But yes, 20 to 30 would be a good base number for us.
Note.
I think it's important for us to recognize that during these precarious times, more than ever, we need to have and foster a greater sense of community. I think it's very important for younger individuals or just simply individuals from all walks of life and all age groups to get together and be a support network for each other. Um, right now we're all going through challenges. It can be different challenges, some financial, some mental, some emotional, some psychological, some physical. But despite all of that, I think it's super important for not just adults, but also for young and youth, young adults and youths to be engaged and to be a part of this community and learn to work together and support each other. I think that's how we overcome things together. I think that's how we build resilience and a sense of camaraderie as a community. And I think it's important for us to show that despite all the social isolation, despite how we feel, that there are people out there who are trying to help and support each other, and that, you know, if we can give back to the community, we can hopefully help ourselves as well and to help others.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Yanni.